and share it as well. Actually, Mia, were you going to take notes? Do you want to share? Or I can do that as well.
I'm on my phone and I can't take notes, so I don't think I can share.
Did you just say you're on your phone?
Yes, but I can take notes. I just don't think I can share the screen.
Okay. I'll do that. All right. Well, let's go ahead and dive into our check-ins here on this beautiful Monday morning, November 1st. Let's see. Okay, my name's up. I'll go ahead and go first. I mentioned that I have a little decision-making tree on my wall behind me. I'm feeling much better now once I've kind of mapped things out and got some clarity. So looking forward to sharing a little bit more with you guys here today about that. And just focusing on kind of cleaning up anything that I can be of the greatest value to Giveth on here this week, as I've been hearing not only Griff's call for November to be our slow month and take some time down, but also hearing my own personal calls of where I can put my focus the best. I'll wait and share that in the agenda a little bit more, but I'm feeling great and clear, and it's a beautiful day. And I'll pass it to Freshelle, because I can see your face.
Hi everyone, happy Monday. I'm feeling great and excited for the week, and my focus is payment, making sure everyone gets paid, and also checking in on the ARDA voting if there's any help needed, and I would just refer you to Mitch. And then yeah, that's my focus for this week, and I'll pass it to Ashley.
Hey guys, good morning. It's good to see you. I'm feeling pretty good this morning. My intentions for the call, just to kind of see what's going on with the proposals on the forum, if there's any new ones, and just kind of sync up. And yeah, my focus for the week, is, let's see. What am I focusing on? Probably to really go through the feedback that I got during project verification and try to implement that and see if there's any changes that need to be made in the process, and kind of bring up some discussions around those topics. So I guess that's my main focus. There's a lot of other things, sub-focuses. And I don't really have anything to add to the agenda. I have priorities for governance call just here.
She passed it to you.
Sorry, I think he's passed it to me, maybe. I'm feeling pretty good. Focus for this week. I'm very excited about the Gemini call with Ashley and Willie, so that'll be super cool. And of course, payments, which I think I just paid a bunch of people just now, actually. And priority for the governance call. Well, there is a PAN call, I think, today. Just make sure that we don't miss that, and remember that's on the calendar. Time zones are always maybe just if there's any calls that we need to schedule that are relevant to this. And there was one thing that I told someone, I was yeah, that's a good topic for a governance call, and I don't remember what it was, but it was there. I'll have to search my DMs, and I'll pass it to Lauren.
Good morning. I'm feeling okay. My focus for the week is, I'm gonna want to finish some of the Give Economy documentation and just keep pushing forward on the Give Economy, seeing if I can see what's missing and try to encourage everybody and keep moving forward so we can maybe deploy everything and start testing this week. My intentions for this call are mostly just to sync up with everybody and comment on whatever comes up. Don't have anything to add to the agenda. I'll pass it to Hannah.
Good morning, everyone. Let's see. I'm feeling good. And for intentions for this call are, another reminder about don't miss that PAM meeting later today. Fill out the spreadsheet if you haven't. There's 2 tabs. That's one for 2 payment periods, so we can get those out of the way. And then this week I'm kind of hacking on, I've heard a ton of feedback from people on the process, and I'm going to draft what I think we should do in the future for the process, because it's definitely not capturing everyone's contributions perfectly. So watch out for that next week, and that'll be on the agenda, and I'll go over kind of a very laid out proposal or way that I think that we should do it going forward. And if anyone has feedback, feel free to message me or set up time this week. And I'd love to hear any other ideas. And let's see. I will pass it to Willie if he hasn't gone yet.
Thanks, Hannah. Perfect timing. Just put my coffee pot on the brewer. Morning, everybody. Feeling great. Feeling best day ever. Just waking up. Focused this week. Excited for that call with Gemini. And also, my other focus is getting all these funds out of the old DAO. Oh my gosh, and it makes me feel so grateful that we're doing a Gardens on XDAO, because just voting on this DAO stack proposal is like $300 to $400 of gas costs. It's terrible. But don't worry, we're gonna get it out and we'll be done with it. So thanks also, Griff, for helping out with that. And is that everybody? Meta Verde? Have you gone yet? Mia?
Hey.
Hey. About the last one. Thank you for having me. I'm doing really super well this morning. I put my back out doing yoga a couple of weeks ago and finally gave up on the physical medicine students and went to a chiropractor, and it's plus 100. My focus this week is the crypto zombies thing that I'm going to be doing in the TEC labs that I'm really super excited about. And I went back. This is kind of crazy, but there's a lot of sports ball in Seattle this week, and the shift gig food service workers are making as much as $35 or $40 an hour to even wash dishes. And I thought, well, I'm going to go work a week, pay my bills, and then I can just relax when I'm hanging out in the DAO sphere and not even think about money or source credit or any of that, and just do what I want to do and not have to worry about anything, because I can work a week and pay all my bills, which is crazy, just absolutely crazy. So my priority for the governance call today, I heard some talk about testing. I want to figure out how to help, but I want to be sticking more towards figuring out how things work from underneath, building and testing, because that's what I like to do, even though I'm not really there yet. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you for having me. Excited to keep trying to figure out what's going on here and how it works.
Amazing. Mia, I think you're actually the last one, yeah?
Oh, thanks, Danny. Yeah, I'm doing okay, thank you. My focus for the week is, I feel like I spent a lot of time and enough. So I'm feeling a little frustrated. And at the same time, I know it's up to me to just dive in deeper. So I guess that's my focus for the week, is just to dive in deeper. And I'll pass it back to Danny.
Okay. So I heard 3 things. We got 3 things captured out of the check-ins. We have to chat about our 3rd quarter token distribution, the Gnosis safe on mainnet, and my work agreement. Anything else anybody has that they want to add into the agenda or make sure we put some time for? All right.
I added the Gnosis multisig on mainnet.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, let's scroll on down here in governance procedures. There's a couple of things here The steward responsibilities matrix is going to be revised a little bit, but let's jump into, we'll save that one for later and go down to the DAO process changes. So here is the section on our Giveth token distribution so far. There's a link to the test DAO, and then where it says new reputation DAO is here. I updated that link to be the new NR Give. So we still have some open action items from last week to check in on. I think they're all in process and coming. We have our meeting later today to go over some of those things. But the agent edition has been added. Forum posts, I think that one's we can check off. And yeah, that's about what we have going on there right now. At the bottom, I've got all of the votes that are currently there. I think we've really done a lot of work on this week, and there's not a whole lot to chat about. Is there anybody? I notice it's a little slow getting votes up. Is anyone actually having trouble with that needs some support? I was kind of thinking maybe.
I just forgot to make one. I still need to make one.
Okay. I'm thinking one of the things that would be nice to do, I noticed as I was looking at my work agreement that the link was outdated in there. So now that we've replaced it, working on what has changed here in the last couple of weeks, getting all of that into Hannah's blog post and formatted. And then I think it'd be great to just notify all the rest of our token holders that aren't here regularly about the change and how to get in there and do that. That's one of the things I won't mind taking on here this week as a follow-up. So let's go ahead and talk about those secrets.
So the Gnosis safe, we have, well, I learned how to set up, and so it's really cool. It's just like a multi-sig wallet where we can keep funds and we can send them out from there based on like parameters that we set. So in terms of that, I set up a Gnosis safe for like our source code payments. But one thing to add whose address it. So on the get to it is would be we could have just have volunteers up for it. So I guess I think at least for source card, I think having the working steward might make more sense just because they're involved in the process already, even though that will be changing a little bit. But I think having stewards involved makes sense. So let me know either now or later if you guys have any. But that's just for the source code payment. And yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah. And so I think we'll probably want to have 2 multi-sigs on mainnet for these sorts of things. So like one for source cred, but that will be on XDAI, right? The source cred multi-sig would be on XDAI. So
yes. Oh yeah. Sorry, I missed that on the note. But yeah, that's on XDAI.
And then we have another multi-sig that we need for basically to act as an admin in our smart contract system and to hold future liquidity mining tokens. So when we deploy the setup, we'll need this very important multi-sig to just be like, you know, the thing that can fix problems if they arise and changing, like, or if we want to add, the main role is liquidity mining management on mainnet, and it will hold 65 million tokens, I think, loose, not in a distro. These will be the only tokens that are not like locked up in a distribution contract. because we're not sure what chain we want to use them on. We're not sure how we want to use these tokens in the future, and they might go somewhere else. So because of the multi-chain world, we can't lock them in a distro. So this multi-sig on mainnet will end up holding 6.5% of the total supply and will be admin of the liquidity mining system that we have on mainnet. So I think we need to basically elect people to manage it. I personally, I have a different multi-sig approach than most people. I actually like just having a bunch of people on it, and then and a high signature threshold, especially for Gnosis Safe, since there's no gas on these signatures. Only one person has to pay the gas when the thing is actually executed. So I'm cool personally with just having a large number, but currently I also, so this would be like a specific multi-sig just for liquidity management. And then we might even want another multi-sig on mainnet to collect payments or to collect donations and stuff like that. Currently we're using this old multi-sig, which is a Gnosis before the safes. That's very expensive to use, just like everything else on mainnet. So it would probably be good to migrate to a Gnosis Safe. And since we have so many new people who are actually working in Giveth on the day-to-day, and not necessarily the same people who are on the Revolution.f multisig, I think we could basically deploy another multisig with the same people and have two multisigs. Because one will be holding these Give tokens and be specifically allocated for liquidity mining management. And like, we don't want necessarily to like mix those Give tokens that it's holding with our actual holdings as an organization. Any thoughts on that? Yeah, Willie, I see you unmuted.
That all sounds great to me. Can we, if we do a new one too for just the Giveth donation address, can we do the same one on mainnet and XDAI, so it's the same address?
Man, I wish. I see if that's working.
I thought it was, if we did a new one, I thought we could do that. I thought it was just like trying to find an old one or something that already existed.
Yeah.
Well, let's just check in on it.
It used to be, I think they were working on that to be possible. So I bet with this Zodiac deployment, I bet that it's possible. But the original thing was that only the old ones had copies deployed.
Cool. Yeah, that all sounds great to me. And I just wanted to add a note too that I posted it in the DAO chat. But one thing we could do, we can start with multi-sig, but eventually if we want to, we can, Shapeshift has it set up right now with the Gnosis Safe that has both multi-sig, but also Safe Snap, which is an oracle that basically you can have snapshot voting, which is great because it's off-chain, it's free. You can get voting power for Give like on mainnet, on XDAI, staked in the gardens. We can give people voting power for. You can totally control what you want to give voting power for. And then you can include transactions with a proposal and then have the Gnosis Safe automatically execute them. It's really cool, but it's also like the gold standard. It's something that we can move towards, not something we need to start with. And especially because hearing what you're saying, like this might need to be able to execute transactions quickly in case of emergency and stuff like that. I am in favor of setting up a multi-sig. And just like you said, let's get a higher number of people with a high signature threshold. That all sounds great.
Is there anything in that would that we want to think about where like the Giveth campaigns for Giveth are pointing? The wallets that Giveth to, for example, on Trace or anything else there for that matter, and then also the main Giveth project on Giveth.io. Is there anything that would change about where those funds go to when people donate through the platforms?
Yeah, I think we should just change to, because right now I think they're all going to the Revolution.f multisig, which is just really expensive to use. Everyone who signs a transaction has to pay gas, and then so we want to once we So we'll basically elect people for both multi-sigs. I assume it'd just be the same people. I don't know why it wouldn't. And then we would have the donations all go to the other one, the one that's not holding all of the liquidity mining privileges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well,
okay.
Is there anyone on this call who doesn't want to be on the Giveth multi-sig? Metaverde, I will say that you're probably excluded from the Giveth multi-sig just because you don't act,
Yeah, because I just got here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's cool. I didn't figure I was. Thank you. I'm on the Alvin multi-sig for that whole thing, and it's just like they're hitting me up to vote like 6 times a week, man. I don't want to be on anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah, we'll be less active than that, I think, but still, we will. The liquidity mining multi-sig will absolutely have action within 6 months of around the 5-month mark of post launch.
But if I may, I do like your idea of having a lot of signers and then just a higher threshold, because what we've run into in a few places, there might be like you need 3 out of 5 signers, but you can't find 3 people like right when you need it. It seems to be easier when there's a lot more people than Yeah,
I actually like 6 out of 13, which sounds kind of weird, but I kind of like these like even less than half, but 6 people all agreeing is like pretty significant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The only one thing I do think about when you have those numbers is to be careful if we try to use any kind of statistics or measurements of who voted and like activity. If there's 13 or 6 people pretty quick on the draw on a regular basis, and you're going to have other people who they don't have as much of a history of showing up for things, but it may not be for lack of trying.
Yeah. And I want to say for the liquidity mining, we would absolutely have over 51%. Like if we had 13 signers, we would have 8 for the liquidity mining, which holds 6.5% of our supply. But for the collection of donations, and when we want to make a random payment or something, less than 50%, in my opinion, is fine.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay, anything else on this topic?
No, I guess I will, and well, I guess just while we're, we can loop in the source credit multi-sig too, and we can just kind of do a multi-sig like revival of sorts. Maybe Hannah and I can hack on that a little bit, and then we just try to push it out and get like stuff on the forum and have a little election of sorts.
Cool.
I mean, it's pretty much just like if anyone wants to be on these multi-sigs, it's just pretty much anybody who holds NR Give tokens probably can just be on the multi-sig if they want to be.
Cool. So there'll be a forum post that summarizes the plan, and we'll review that and vote on it if necessary. Okay. So jump to we've already talked about our Give, the other activities on right now. We have actually so there's a lot going on around pan payouts, and I know you're working on a lot of that, and we've got a working group to address the monthly payouts to date. But then there's also planning updates to the process going forward. So there's a couple of posts on the forum, including the one about pan payment system revision. Hannah, is there anything you want to share? Anything that's been coming up in the last week around revising that process?
Surrounding revising it, basically, pretty much it's looking like we want to get better capture how people are contributing, have a basically parameters for when we are stopping giving people PAN payments. So if they like haven't contributed for a certain amount of time, and then also what we like have in our process to make sure that we're capturing everyone who is contributing and capturing new members, and then having kind of a check through that. So that's kind of a very loose overview. But yeah, next week I'm gonna have like a probably a forum post up explaining all of it. And in the meantime, if anyone wants to give feedback or make recommendations, let me know, and I'll hear them and then go over kind of what we've decided on next week to make it just more efficient, better, and making sure that we're like, there's basically just more kind of order in place surrounding it so that we're capturing everybody and not giving rewards to people who aren't contributing anymore.
I know neither Mateo or Mitch are on this call, but I had heard some fair feedback, from where praise started some time ago. It's evolved into a lot of different places and spaces and is being used in a lot of different places and spaces. Mitch was sharing with me that the process that you guys have over at the Token Engineering Commons kind of got burned to the ground and started fresh, Griff. Is that I'm still curious to what extent we should be building a Giveth specific system, and to what extent there's reward systems being built in our partner ecosystems where we could maybe have like a cross team collaboration to actually create something that's replicable or easily maintained in our different places.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have two options. The reward system will be out in December, it seems. It seems very likely that the rewards, they've made major progress in the last couple of weeks and are rolling ahead with the TC and rewards anonymized praise. So there will be a quantification of praise, and anyone who wants to can go in and like request a packet of praise that'll say like hamburger, praised unicorn for blah 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 blah, and then you give a score, but you don't have to do it all, and it's asynchronous, right? And so you give the scores, and then it also includes a bot that records how much time you are in meetings, source cred, and Twitter. So it has these bots that are measuring those quantifiable things, and then you just use praise for the qualitatives. And then there's a quantification every period of time that we want to do, and then you end up with a list of basically other solution in my opinion is Coordinate, which is all the paper strategy, all the overhead. It's way to anyone who wants to can come to our monthly dish meeting, and then you kind of you decide in a way how people get give tokens is actually what they call it in Coordinate, which is funny. So you get these some groups use source cred and say your source cred points just give you the points that you can give to other people, right? And then everyone just gives points to each other, not to themselves, but and somehow you have to decide how people get the give points. But then and then people come around once a month, they allocate their tokens to people, and then that's how people get paid from the rewards. So I would say those are the two options that make the most sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know Mitch isn't here to speak on the call. We talked about this, and he was kind of a thumbs down on the Coordinate for a few reasons.
Yeah, lower overhead, but also lower popular. And then, Mitch, the nice thing with the reward system is Mitch, Mateo, myself, and a lot of our it's coming out of the Giveth ecosystem, basically, from the Common Stack and TEC. So it is nice to support it. There's some extra, like, I don't know what you call that, synergy there. And we have a lot of overlap in people. So people that will be contributing to both communities will have the same reward system and less cognitive overhead.
Exactly. Awesome. The only other question I had that might be relevant here, as we go into reviewing the contributions for the past month to do the PAN rewards in our call later today. In the past, the way this used to work is it went by circles. So each circle had a certain amount to distribute and was responsible for adjusting. Right now, we're kind of doing that across the board, and I saw that Monique was actually kind of uncomfortable with scoring people that aren't in his circle. Is there any kind of chain of command in the system that you're looking at where like working group stewards or leads in any way have like an oversight or a manual intervention process?
Yeah. Every review, there is like a revision of the system. Now, I'm not sure of this detail, but if I were choosing it, I would say that the results are the results, but then you adjust things for next month, right? So having this feedback loop is really important, so things don't spiral out of control in the wrong direction. But having like these were, and then Monique's like, what the hell? The trace devs are too low. Okay, well, then we need to tweak things on source grid. We make more of an effort for people who are working on that stuff, as the leaders and So it's important to have the feedback rounds for sure. And then there's all these other levers and buttons that we have, like a little dashboard panel that we're gonna have to like make Twitter more powerful or less powerful, make GitHub commits less powerful or more powerful. So that'll just be a constant adjustment.
Right. Nice. Yeah. The only other thing that I feel like I've learned out of this process that would be something to think about is, I think what I heard you say is we'll make the adjustments for the following period. So once a month data is up, for the most part, it gets tweaked and finalized, but we wouldn't go back and make changes based on things. We would only be going forward.
I think it's cleaner personally.
Yeah. Me too. Okay. Anybody else have questions, contributions, concerns?
I loved the cognitive overhead concept. I think that's great, Griff. It's a big point.
I think video disappeared there for a moment. Can you hear me now? Yes? No? All right.
Yes.
Cool. Let's go to number 3. And any updates or questions around the hex words, Lauren? We want to set a time frame to decide something on that, or we got time? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we leave it open. I think the real deadline would be like November 19th ish. Like basically when we start doing the second deployment, second test deployment of everything is when we want to try it.
Did this ever go out in a post? Is this something we'd want to harvest the greater collective wisdom about? Make it fun and interesting?
That'd be cool. A tweet.
Uh-huh.
When you have a slow day, of course.
I could tweet it today.
Okay, Prashel, I'm gonna jump down here to the buddy system and work agreement section and just check in with you first to see if you have any needs or information to share.
So mostly, I think, mostly are on the step of adding their votes on the RDAO in the new link. So I've seen that some of them encountered struggles on adding a vote. So I guess Mitch was able to help them. And yeah, just a reminder for those who haven't added their votes yet to please add them. And yeah, I think that's the update for the work agreements. And also, I think the questions for the body review is finalized. I think there are no other suggestions for that. So I guess I would start asking everyone to schedule their body calls for the remaining months of 2021. And then for 2022, we would start having it on a uniform quarterly body review. That would be January, April, November, and October and December, I think. Something like that. So yeah, I would start to remind everyone to schedule a body call and review with their buddies for 2021. So I think that's the update on my end.
Anyone have any questions on the work agreement or Sobel or buddy process? All right. Okay, I'm gonna hop down into the voting stage. So that's an old link. So there's one proposal that had 2 hours left when we started, and that's the one that's going to allow everybody that doesn't hold NR give tokens to be able to create proposals. So once that's up, we can work with our buddies to help everybody get their proposals up and see how to do that. Creating your work agreement is a great way to test the system and get your hands on it. So lots of people have done it already. Votes that have passed is vote number 0 to add the finance agent, and then votes 1 through 6 plus number 8 are minting the new tokens for the third quarter of this year for Lauren, Marco, Danny, Mitch, Ashley, Kai, and Mohammed, the ones who have done that so far. So buddies, if you don't see your buddy's name on there, maybe you could check in, see if they need a little bit of support. There aren't any pending right now, but if
I just threw in a vote for me.
Vote for Griff. Sweet. Okay. Where are we at? We're at 8:42. I think we're pretty well on track to wrap this meeting up with a little bit of time to give back to everybody. So I just want to give you guys a little comment and update on my work agreement. I saw it got rejected and was mildly amused because I think I put myself into that position somewhat intentionally. It's very, very hard for sometimes to let go of certain things that I've been doing for a while. And I feel very excited and grateful for where we are and seeing all of your beautiful faces on this team and knowing that you're all super amazing and capable. And as I think about taking scheduling vacation, what I really became quite aware of is time's different for me right now. What I can actually commit to at this particular time is not very much. So it doesn't actually feel good to ask for anything from you guys. So I'm grateful to Lauren for speaking up and hitting the no button on my work agreement. And I'm letting you guys know that I'm going to resign my steward role on the governance circle, and also resign from having regular rewards after this month. I love Giveth. I'm always and forever a Givether, and I love contributing. And I think all of you guys know that at any given moment, you can say, hey, Danny, I'm able to do this. And if you ask me, I will. And yeah, that's what I want to share with you guys here that I got a lot of clarity on this morning. I can do really amazing, powerful things when I put my focus on them. And I haven't really been able to put my focus fully on anything for a few months now because there's just so many great things I'm working on. But I did what I intended to do, which is bring in epic people to take over the roles that I have been doing for Giveth these past years and to get them to where they're actually able to do it even better than me. So congratulations, you guys. You've made me obsolete. At least I feel that way a little bit. And that was my intention. And I did it. And I'm here for you guys always. And I'll still show up. And I'll spend this next week completing and handing off commitments that I have to you. And try not to shed a unicorn tear.
Aw, we love you, Danny.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Danny. Luckily, I mean, I know it's not really a goodbye. You're just going to be hanging out, but different role.
Yeah, I think also we've got a couple people here. You heard me ramble on a little bit about what's happening here in the Diamante Valley, and there's a few people who need breaks from things that they've been carrying. And I'd like to be more physically present and less on the computer during this next month. My body is also telling me that. Having my eyes. I actually have been having some anxiety attacks, to be honest, and that's not who I am. So I need to clear all that out and be the very best that I can be for you guys and myself.
Thanks, Danny.
So that's the thing, the last word that I have for our agenda. So I'll open it up and invite any of you, if you have anything you want to share, any reflections with the last few minutes of this call.
I was super late, so I missed I showed up for the most important part, I think, but I missed anything that was supposed to be directed at me. Okay.
I don't think that there's too much, Mitch. Just like, hey, there's a multi-sig. That Hannah and I are gonna push out a couple multi-sig proposals in election.
Stuff?
Yeah, one for source credit on XDAI and two on mainnet. One for collecting donations as Giveth, and another for holding liquidity mining tokens.
Yeah, that's like that 10% or whatever that's going to be held on mainnet.
Yeah, exactly. So two multi-sigs for that. We talked about the RGive token mint and burn, the RGive DAO blog post.
Yeah, I see these action items here.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just follow up with Griff. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there were any direct payment, any direct actions.
Cool.
Right, Danny?
All right. Sounds good.
Cool. Well, okay, I'll take it. We can just do a closing round, I guess. Danny, thank you so much. I mean, you really pulled Giveth through some incredibly dark times. You know, we were basically dead and you and Amin and Kai were like the only people really pushing anything forward on Giveth for a year. So pretty, heroic work to keep it alive and rejuvenate it. I mean, really, this is we're here because of your work. So, it's and it wouldn't be we wouldn't be here without you. So, from Decentral to Giveth to just all the like house retreats that you and Lorelai would run, and just like so many things that happened to keep us alive because of your work. So I don't think I don't think you're going anywhere. I'm sure that we'll see you in a lot of these calls and stuff, but it's good to hear you set some boundaries and move on to the next leg of your journey. And I guess for the closing round, I'll just pass it. I'll pass it to Frischelle.
Yeah. I'd also like to thank you, Danny, even though you just worked for quite a short time and just a few months, you were very responsive to all my questions. And yeah, I'm so grateful that our path crossed. So I wish you all the best in your next journey and chapter. And I'll pass it to Hannah.
All right. Yeah, feeling good and motivated to kind of get these things off the list over the next week that I said. Yeah, Danny, thanks for shifting your work around as you need to and taking care of yourself, and that's the most important. And always finding awesome people to join Giveth. And let's have a great week. I will pass it to Lauren.
I feel so sad. Danny, we're gonna, I know you're not disappearing, but I feel super sad to hear that, I feel so responsible. And I feel like you're responsible for my even being here. And I really appreciate everything you've done to support Giveth in this community. And I hope that I hope you're just still around. I mean, I'm sure you also live over there, so you can't be too far away. But yeah, you're so super loved, and I'm sad, and I'll pass it to Mitch.
Yeah, same thing as Lauren said. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So, I mean, I'm not going to talk to you like you're dying or going somewhere. I know I'm going to see you around here and in the real world. So, but yeah, thank you for everything. And I'll give it to Ashley.
Hey, yeah, I'm feeling more focused on some of these things going forward here. I'm excited to see how we choose to do the rewards process and talk more about it maybe in our call in a little bit. And yeah, I also wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, Danny. You're my buddy. And I'm so glad that I could just see you right over there. So that makes me feel a little reassured that you're not leaving our lives and you'll still be around. But I'm really glad to hear that you're listening to what you need and following your heart. And I think that Meta Verde, I'll pass it to you.
It sounds like everyone's going to miss you, Danny, but the real life is real, man, and you got to take care of your people face to face. And I think what you said, really rang with me too, and made me realize that a lot of stress that we feel is from it's not even work-life balance because we're here with friends, but the balance between 3D and the cyberspace and how it can affect us emotionally. Give your people hugs, touch people, go out in real life and breathe the air. It's a beautiful thing. Let's see. I'm going to pass to you, Mitch.
I think it's Mia or Willie.
Oh, did Mitch already go? Oh, Mia, I'm sorry, and you're right there, right next to me on the list too. I'm passing.
Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah, Danny, I think it's the definitely very real for me as well, what you're going through. And also I'm here because of you and everyone else that you introduced to Giveth, and totally get it and totally get your magic, and whatever you're going to do is going to be amazing. And yeah, I just honor you listening deeply to yourself and honoring yourself and spreading your magic wherever you go. I love you very, very, very much. And thank you for everything that you do. Yeah, I'll pass it back to Danny.
I think Willie?
Thank you. Yes, thanks, Danny. I echo a lot of the sentiment here. Personally, I'm like selfishly sad because I really appreciate you, Danny, and you and Giveth are like very much one to me. You introduced me to Giveth when we got Giveth going again. You were one of the first community members to jump in from day one, and then helped build this amazing community. Like all of the amazing community we have is very much thanks to your efforts. So personally, I'm sad, but for you, I'm happy because I know this is going to be great, and I know this isn't going to be the end. So, and I still am going to come hang out with you one day in Costa Rica and give you the biggest hug ever. So, I hope that this is a great break and that it's very refreshing for you. I'm sure it will be. And yeah, just know that we're going to keep pushing forward and we're going to make you real proud.
Well, I'll take it back now and just remind you guys I'm not really going anywhere. And one of the main things that I came to realize is what I'm really doing is shifting around to the other side of the fence. And I want to be your superstar maker and super user, and make sure that the projects that are on there are quality, because they're mine, some of them, and I want to own them and run them and make sure that I'm giving you guys the best feedback from people who are using the platform to build the best platform ever, and to bring our makers and our givers together and to know each other better and have great relationships between each other, and for donors to be really excited about the projects that are on there and want to go find other projects. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to be wearing a totally different hat, and I'm going to take a little bit of downtime first. I actually just, I don't know how life would be without Giveth at this point. Like, you guys are my family, and I work on this because I believe in it, and that's not going away. So thank you guys so much. I love you, and I'm going to let this call close because I probably do have to give a little tear. So, governance meeting, you got this one next week, Mitch?
Yeah, sure.
And we can have a governance working group steward discussion this week. Maybe even in person would be super rad. And well, with Hannah too to pitch in there. If anybody is feeling really motivated and excited and inspired about where we're going with governance, with the DAO and with the economy, or knows anybody who is, please, of course, I'm happy to talk about all my thoughts and how things have evolved. And one of the main things that really triggered this for me was that I want to get this. I've been working on that blog post you wrote, Hannah. So after we can chat on that a little bit too. And thank you very much. I love you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye, Danny.
Love you, Danny.
Bye, everyone.
Guys, have a great day.